Stampers, and thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be creating this super stinking cute witch's treat box. This is so cute. It stands up on its own, which you can't see on the video, so I'll put it this way. This idea is so stinking cute, made with a stocking die of all things. So easy to do. This design came from the rockin' duo Susan Adams and Janet Baker. I made this at Susan's Stamp House. It is so stinking cute. This particular one is just two boots put together with a treat inside, and this one has the box number 2 from the Big Shot in the middle, so you can actually put a little goodie bag inside. So cool. Okay, let's get started. I know you heard me say it and you said, really? The stocking die? Really? It's gonna do this. Wait until you see how. You'll flip out. We're gonna take 2 pieces of basic black cardstock and put it over the stocking die. Sandwich that between 2 cutting pads and crank it to the Big Shot. And while we have our stocking die out, I probably should have done this at the same time. We're going to do this topper with some designer paper. I'm using designer paper from the Timeless Portrait Collection from Stampin' Up, and I really love it. 2 pieces of designer paper, and again, I could have run it through at the same time, I just forgot. And you're also going to want 2 of those in black. And next, exactly the same way in the Big Shot, we're going to use the 3.5-inch circle die and 2 sheets of black cardstock on that. And lastly, you'll want the box number 2 Bigs XL, and you'll want to cut that in black. Okay, it might be a little hard to see black on black here, but in case I went too fast for you, 1 box number 2, 2 black stockings, 2 black toppers, 2 designer paper toppers, all 3 from the stocking die, and 2 3.5-inch circles in black. If I'm going too fast for you, don't fret. This will be on my blog. You'll be able to print this out, the supply list on my inspiration sheet. If you're on YouTube now, simply go to the description of this video and click the link at the top. Or go to stampwithtami.com and type in witch boot in the search. All of these supplies are available in my online store. Now for box number 2, I'm going to cut this top flap off because we don't need it to close. Taking my paper cutter and just going straight down. And this here is the easiest thing to put together. Just reinforce those fold lines. A little Stampin' Up! Sticky strip just on this one tab that goes on the end. And that goes together, and then the bottom just folds in. And we're done. That's it. That's box number 2, and we cut off the top so it doesn't close. We'll put that aside. Next, we're going to make this fun shape on the toe of the boot. So I'll do 1 at a time. We're taking the circle die and the stocking. Now, I've made a template here. All I did was take the 1 3/4-inch circle punch and punch that out. And the reason why I made a template is so that your 2 circles can be exactly the same. And then this gets attached onto the toe. You're gonna move it so that that circle follows the curve of the stocking. I'm gonna flip it over so you can see the back now. See, I want it to follow the curve of the toe, and then I'm gonna turn the top so that it follows the curve of the top as well. So no toes hanging out, no top hanging out. Flip that up I'm going to flip that up and put a little snail adhesive on the toe line. Stick that down. And we'll do that with both of them. But you want to make sure that your second one is facing the opposite way because they'll be on opposite sides of the box. Once they're done, we're going to run them through the Big Shot on the Vintage Wallpaper Impressions folder. Now, when you put one stocking on, it's important to know the whole stocking isn't going to fit in the folder, but we're going to be covering the top of the stocking with designer paper, so just leave that off. It doesn't need to be embossed. The folder gets sandwiched between 2 cutting pads and placed on tab 1 of the multi-purpose cutting platform and run through the Big Shot machine. Then do the exact same thing with the side 2, just make sure it's facing the opposite way. So now we have our 2 boots that are embossed, and you really can't even see the circle line there. If you look real close, you could see it, but it kind of adds to it. It's kind of cool. I'm going to take some snail on the back of the designer paper, attach that to the top of one, and then take one of our backings in black, put snail on the back of that, flip this over, and stick that right on the back. And I'm going to do the same thing with the second boot. I'm going to flip over the first one and put it underneath, just so I can line the top of this up with the other one. So they're lined up the same when they're next to each other with the box. They are already stinking awesome. Isn't that the coolest thing? Now we're going to bling it up, baby. I have just a plain water bottle that I've poured some rubbing alcohol in, and maybe for every 1 ounce of rubbing alcohol, I just poured this in. You can use an eyedropper if you want. This is Stampin' Up! Champagne Shimmer Mist. Shake it up real good. pour about 5 or 6 drops for every ounce. Shake it up real good in the bottle. I'm just putting a paper towel underneath. And then we're going to spritz. And because of the rubbing alcohol, that's going to dry real fast. Now I'm going to hold this up so you can see what that just did. Do you see the sparkle and shimmer over this entire boot? So cool. So now I'm just holding them together so they're facing opposite so I can cut this little notch. You can go up a little higher with the notch if you're just using it as a treat holder, but if you're putting the box underneath, you need a little bit of width there, so you probably don't want to go up quite as high as I did my first time. So maybe about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch straight up, and then right where that curve of the circle starts, use that as your guide and go straight across. And that's it. 2 straight cuts, but it looks like it's curved. Isn't that awesome? And because you had them back to back, they're both even. This is brushed gold cardstock and the word window punch, and I need 2 per boot. So I need 4 total. And then we're going to cut those in half so that you have 4 per boot, and then just using a little snail on the back of each of them, just piece those right down your boot. Nice! And you do that on both sides. And then our finishing touch are these basic jewel rhinestones from Stampin' Up! That I sell in my online store. And the best part about these? Peel and stick, baby, right on there. Oh yeah, because you gotta have the bling. This witch is styling. So if you wanted to make it a treat holder, you can just use sticky strip to attach along the edges here and put your treat in the top. But because we're making our box out of it, we're gonna bring back our box number 2 that we cut earlier. Put some sticky strip on either side. Peel off that protective backing, and then you've got to line it up inside the boot. It's going to go at a little bit of an angle so that it doesn't show from the front. Peel off the backing on the second side. Make sure those 2 are lined up before you press down, and then just stick your little hand inside the box, press down, and voila! She is complete! Put your little candy inside there, and you just have the stinking cutest witch's boot candy holder for Halloween. I suppose you could make this for a favor for anything. Make them white, put them out as a wedding. Just so stinking cute. Thanks again to Susan and Janet for this awesome idea. All of these supplies are available in my online store at stampwithtami.com. If you're viewing in YouTube, you can go right to this project's page directly with all of the information by clicking on the description of this video and clicking the link at the top. Be sure to visit my blog for tons of ideas posted daily. Thanks for joining me today.